Hey everybody, John Skiba here from the Arizona Consumer Law Group. I'm also founder of the Consumer Warrior Project, which is designed to help people fight back against abusive creditors. And in today's video, I wanted to talk about something I'm seeing a whole lot of lately, particularly here in Arizona where I practice, and that is the $500 lawsuit. Now, I know this may seem crazy, but what we're seeing is just this huge volume of lawsuits that are in the $500 to $1,000 range. And while $500 and $1,000, it's a fair amount of money, when it comes to lawsuits, it's almost inconceivable to most attorneys that this amount of money would be sued over, particularly in light of the court fees, the court charges when you file it, the fact that they have to hire a process server to serve these things. So people are really, confused as to why they're being sued over $500 and why they, what they should do with it. So what I want to do in this video is give you a few options as far as things you can do if you get one of these low-dollar lawsuits, what some of the options are. And also, I want to talk about why it is that they're doing this. And maybe I'll talk about that first. Why is it that they're suing over $500 or $1,000? Most people think when it comes to lawsuits, particularly debt collection type lawsuits, that the type of lawsuits that they're going to be brought are over things like $20,000, $50,000, those types of credit cards or other types of debts. The reason why you don't see as many of those is very strategic on the part of the creditor. And that is, they know that most people, if they get a judgment against them for $50,000 or $60,000 or even $20,000 or $30,000, they're likely just going to file for bankruptcy. Because most people don't have that kind of money. They can't take like a wage garnishment for that kind of amount of money. And so they end up filing for bankruptcy over any kind of judgment. They know that people generally are not going to file bankruptcy over a $500 judgment or $1,000 or even $2,000 judgment. They know that they're going to try to settle those particular kind of judgments out rather than file for bankruptcy or take some different route. They also know that most people will not hire counsel. It's very difficult to hire an attorney over a $500 lawsuit when most attorneys in Arizona bill at $250 per hour. So those are some of the reasons why we see so many of these low-dollar lawsuits. Let me tell you some of the things you can do as far as getting rid of them. The first thing you can do is attempt to settle the debt. Because it's a relatively low amount, you can offer some kind of low-dollar settlement proposal to them to see if you can get it to go away. I can tell you, in my experience, most of the law firms that represent particularly junk debt buyers, they don't take much less than the full amount just because of the total dollar amount is relatively small. So you're probably still going to spend $300 to $500 or $300 to $400 to try to get the claim settled. Second option is to contest the allegations. I often recommend this with junk debt buyers like Midland Funding, Portfolio Recovery, Cavalry SPV, Cash LLC. Those are some of the big ones here in Arizona. And this you can do. These are generally done in the small claims or justice courts. And you can contest the allegations of these creditors because often they have very little paperwork and very little witnesses to be able to show up and actually prove their case in a courtroom setting. Now, this can be difficult to do on your own if you've never done it. And again, it makes it tough because you don't want to pay an attorney $1,000 to avoid paying $500. Something we do at my office, we do what are called limited scope or unbundled services, legal coaching we call it, where some people will come in and they will pay us a fee to be able to sit down, go over their case, and really instruct them on how to handle the overall process. Third option is bankruptcy. Like I said, most people do not file bankruptcy over $500, and I would wholeheartedly agree with that you don't file bankruptcy over that. But the question I often ask clients is, let's say that we settle out this claim or we fight this claim and it goes away. Is it going to be replaced by 2 or 3 more? What's your overall debt situation? And if this is just kind of the tip of the iceberg, it may be something where you want to file for bankruptcy and be able to just kind of eliminate everything at once. So they're an annoyance. They're a pain to deal with, but there are a few options to be able to deal with these low-dollar lawsuits that we're seeing the courts just being filled with lately here in Arizona. So that'll do it for this one. If you want to learn more about what I do at my practice, head on over to consumerwarrior.com. If you want to learn more about some of the legal coaching or some of those limited scope type services we offer, it's the same site, but you can also go to legal.coach. That's the actual website, and learn more about that there. Thanks for watching.